Wake up, rise and shine. It's a brand new day with Mona News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Good morning, everyone. It is October the 7th, and I think as much as I'm not a political channel, I'm more of a human channel. It would be remiss to not remember all the people that passed away in the Hamas attack. I know I don't get into the Mesopotamia, but I do feel like we should acknowledge the great loss of life and the tragedy that was that day, even if I don't agree with maybe the solutions that are being presented as such, and am not smart enough to know which solutions are better and willing to admit that not smartness. Welcome, Wolfram, for doing all the Modly Mod stuff. Christine, good morning. Good morning, Janie J. and Tammy and Nanny Goat. Welcome, welcome. So our first story is a Walmart shopper shamelessly films herself shoplifting at a self-checkout and gets caught by AI as the clerk laughs. Almost like, yeah. Now, I have a hate-hate relationship with those self-checkout things, mostly because if you don't know, I am frugal AF. Like just absolutely if I can save a penny, I will. So I like to go to Kroger. I like to, find their hidden clearance section and make bank when they have like Lucky Charms on sale. I will buy all the Lucky Charms ever. But it is amazing to me how those, self-checkout things they have the tags on there for clearance, but you can't, ring them up by yourself. So that always bothers me. Also, if I wanted to be carded and, waste time, I would go to a regular checkout thing. Hospice jest, I'm telling you, I'm afraid of AI, but if Skynet comes in the form of making funny or songs for me, I'm kind of okay with it. I am not aware of it, John Gary. But if you want to put the information in there, I am having a brain fart about who Haley Salisbury is. And I know I should know, but yesterday was not a great day. So that is what I'm going on that one. A Walmart shopper shamelessly filmed herself, shoplifting at the checkout and getting caught by the company's AI-powered cameras, but still posted the embarrassing clip to TikTok. Point of view, when you usually don't get caught, but now you're banned for 2 years from all Walmarts in my area, wrote TikToker Nisha over her video, which has 2.2 million views. The clip shows the woman scanning and bagging a few items through self-checkout at a Walmart store, then pretending to scan a backpack before putting it in her shopping bag without dinging the barcode. The computer screen soon lights up with the pop-up notification that says that an associate is on the way, which prevents her from scanning additional items or checking out. Now, I will say this, I do this unintentionally, but when the screen tells you put item in bag, and then you put item in bag, and it still says put item in bag, I'm just saying this AI may not be, on the level of Nancy Drew yet. When the worker comes over and scans her card, the screen changes to scanned detected, a message that includes an overhead video recording the customer dragging the backpack over the scanning area without scanning the barcode. Nisha then pans her camera over to the employee who's coughing to cover her mouth as she laughs. Even though she laughed, she called the manager and the police had to escort us outside, Nisha wrote in the caption alongside hashtag stealing gone wrong. Why would you post this? Your mother is embarrassed, okay? As a mom, if one of my kids, you know, put this up on TikTok, I'd be mortified. Around 15% of shoppers admitted to have purposely stolen an item or a few at self-checkouts. Of those, only 33 were caught, according to 2023's Lending Tree survey. Walmart has increased anti-shoplifting measures as it reportedly loses an estimated $3 billion a year due to theft, according to GitNux. Artificial intelligence has been one of the tools the Arkansas-based retail giant has introduced in recent years to catch possible thieves. Missed scan detection used AI-powered cameras to cut down theft and inventory losses and was first implemented at Walmart stores beginning in 2017. More recently, the megastore chain has implemented nearly invisible barcodes on its store-branded items that allow items to be scanned by passing through a scan area without directly needing a scan on a singular barcode. The new technology is part of a $3 million deal with Digimarc. Welcome, everyone. Oh, again, ma'am, it looks like I'm guessing you didn't have to steal the backpack, but you just decided it was going to be a great idea and you wanted to spend money on your nails or something. I don't know, but this is dumbness. And why are you posting this to TikTok like you're the victim? But even with additional measures, some Walmart locations have seen high levels of theft in self-checkout areas and were scrapped altogether. The company, however, said it was part of a wider move to improve the in-store shopping experience. In a statement to the Post, a Walmart spokesperson said the company, quote, does not publicly disclose safety measures in our store. So there you go. I wouldn't chance, not scanning your Walmart stuff, but I guess it's a YOLO and she FAFO'd. Interesting news. A lost biblical plant with medicinal properties was resurrected from a 1,000-year-old seed. Maybe it can help me with my, lost inner child. Botanists have grown a long-lost tree species from a 1,000-year-old seed found in a cave in the Judean desert in the 1980s. The researchers involved in the project say they believe the tree species, which is thought to be extinct today, may have been the source of a healing balm mentioned in the Bible and other ancient texts. Unearthed during an archaeological dig of the lower Wadi el-Malk region of North Jerusalem, the ancient seed was determined to be in pristine condition, but scientists conducting the new research weren't able to identify the type of tree from the seed alone. The team, led by Sarah Salin, a physician who founded Louis L. Borick Natural Medicine Research Center at Hadassah University Medical Center in Jerusalem, planted the seed to further investigate, and it took more than a dozen years ago. Salin said it was possible that the tree could have been the source of the biblical suri, medicinal plant extract associated with the historic region of Galilee north of the Dead Sea in the Jordan Rift Valley, a mountainous forested area that was intensely cultivated and is now part of Jordan. The team findings, described in a study published September 10th in the Journal of Communications Biology, unlock some of the secrets surrounding the origin of this enigmatic specimen, which Salon nicknamed Sheba. So this is the seed. Yeah, I'd be stumped. I would have figured it had come out of an almond I have no idea. To germinate the specimen, study co-author Dr. Elaine Slowey, a researcher emerita at the Center of Sustainable agriculture in the Arva Institute for Environmental Studies in Israel used a process perfected during previous research left by Salon on a 2,000-year-old date palm tree seed. The approach involved soaking the mysterious Judean desert seed in water mixed with hormones and fertilizer before planting it in a pot of sterile soil. About 5.5 weeks later, up jumps this nice little shoot. Protecting the shoot tip was a cap-like feature called an upper cilium. Once it had shed, the team used radiocarbon dating on the organic matter to estimate that the plant's age, and the found specimen dated between 993 and 2202. Not long after, the tree began to sprout leaves, and Salon shared an image of the tree and its leaves with botanists around the world. One expert suggested it belonged to the genus Comphoria. The group includes 200 species of trees, mainly found in Africa, Madagascar, and the Arab Peninsula. She next shared a sample of a leaf to the study co-author, Andrea Weeks, an associate professor at the Department of Biology at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. Weeks sequenced the DNA of the tree, confirming the preliminary identification. However, the sample didn't match any known plants of that genus. Yeah, John Gary, I'm beginning to wonder if this might be how The Thing and Raccoon City start. However, the tree, which is now more than 14 years old, almost 10 feet, well, it became a beautiful tall tree. 3 meters tall, has neither flowered nor borne fruit. Without these more easily identifiable features, it's not possible to identify the cryptic species, certainly. Based on historical research, Salon had a hunch that the tree might be the source of what ancient texts from the region, including the Bible, described as Judean balsam or balm of Gilead, a fragrant resin harvested to make a coveted perfume that was exported across the world at the time. Anything is better than Axe body spray, so let's get these trees a-poppin', okay? And how would I definitively know that? By smelling that. So they waited to, actually publish this paper because they couldn't smell the resin, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. So this resin, depending on when it finally starts to produce enough that they can test it, has been shown to have, a lot of healing properties, allegedly. I'm not, getting rid of my ibuprofen and antibiotics just yet, but there you go. A biblical tree has reborn. No idea what is going on with the New York Post. Fisher, rarely seen forest predator, once thought eliminated in Pennsylvania, spotted on a trail cam outside of Pittsburgh. It's like Christmas morning. Yeah, no, I see something with shiny eyes crawling out of the forest. Not happy day. Not happy day. Bigfoot might have some competition. An elusive and lesser-known forest predator, once eliminated from Pennsylvania, was spotted on a trail cam outside of Pittsburgh over the summer. A fisher, an omnivorous large mammal that has been is part of the weasel family, was captured by a camera as it walked over a grassy log in Murrysville in June, making an extremely rare and exciting sight to behold. Yeah, no, I know that that's just a reflection of what its eyes do in the camera, but no, that looks okay. That looks kinder, but still, that looks like an animal that will cut you if given the opportunity. So don't piss those off. The population has been steadily growing since the reintroduction, but sightings are still rare as the animals are notoriously stealthy. Bill Powers, whose trail camera caught the fisher on his Murrysville property on June 16th, was shocked to see the beast when he finally uploaded the footage to his computer last month. I put the camera on a fallen log in a remote area and kept it there several months, Powers told the local paper. I pulled the SD cards this week, and to my amazement, it captured a photo of a fisher in mid-June. He said he often leaves trail cameras from his company, Pix Cams, out in remote parts of the woods before removing them. So he waits for a month and then, comes back and gets them. Finding the footage of the fisher was, quote, like Christmas morning, Powers said on a Facebook post. It's super rare to see one of these in this area, kind of like finding a needle in a haystack. He estimated the furry critter measures about 3 feet long. Fishers, which sometimes are inaccurately called fisher cats, are the second largest member of the weasel family in Pennsylvania. I could make many jokes here of a political nature, but I'm trying to be right with the Lord and carbohydrates. Fishers may be smaller than other predators in the forest and wooded environments, but they are fierce, deadly beasts. They often prey on rabbits, squirrels, mice, shrews, and birds, in addition to a diet of eggs, nuts, acorns, apples, and berries. They're only they're also only known as a North American mammal that has been able to kill and eat porcupines, and have even been known to take down a much larger Canadian minx in Maine. Despite their name, fishers don't eat fish. Then I guess they'd be landers. Talk to them, ask them if they're sovereign citizens. Are you harboring your land boat to fight not fishes? Ugh. What in the Walmart rapture is going on in this story? I expect that this story is going to be huge in the coming months. Uh, Not going to lie, I think that this has a lot of the hooks and a hook that, law and crime and the rest of us will use to get people really involved in this story. Investigator of the Year broke into a home where a resident unalived him for being in his house without permission. A break-in suspect who was fatally shot and unalived by a homeowner on Friday is reportedly a police officer for the Atlanta Police Department. Aubrey Horton, who recently won an Investigator of the Year award, worked in fugitive unit since 2015, according to Atlanta Fox affiliate WAGA. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office is investigating and called the shooting self-defense. They've yet to settle on explanations as to why the slain investigator was allegedly at the home in the morning, simply describing him as a man, quote, who appeared on video to be experiencing a mental health episode or under the influences of narcotics. Deputies who did not name Horton in their first Facebook post say they were dispatched Friday at about approximately 5 a.m. to the 8,000 block of Ornkey Way in a community of Winston regarding a person being shot. They say Horton tried to break in the front door of the home. They later determined that he lived nearby on the 8,000 block of Rannoch Moore Drive. Both of these locations are in the same neighborhood. This individual was able to make his way into the residence and was confronted by the homeowner, they wrote. The homeowner, acting in self-defense, shot the person inside his residence. The shot was fatal and the individual died at the scene. We are working closely with Douglas County Sheriff's Office to learn more about what occurred as they continue to investigate, Atlanta police said in a statement obtained by WAGA. Merely days ago, Horton was among other Atlanta police who received awards for their service. On Tuesday, September 24th, the Atlanta Police Foundation hosted the 20th annual Crime is Toast Awards. Atlanta Police, for the name alone, it's cringy. The annual Crime is Toast Awards. Now, call me a sarcastic, cynical, general public person, but and I don't think that people should not be acknowledged for their, deeds of goodness throughout the year or whatever they're doing. But gee, what would be more helpful to the public? Having these stupid awards or having these cops maybe doing the thing they're supposed to be doing, like fighting crime and or not committing it? I mean, whichever we choose, could we just not have the annual Crime is Toast Awards? Because I think I added another 3, millimeters to the ball of cringe I have lodged slowly growing over my liver. I don't know if I'll make it through 2024. I don't know where the cringe is going to go. It was an extraordinary moment for our dedicated officers, civilians, and community members as we celebrate their unwavering commitment to our beloved city, the police wrote in a post. So there you go. Interesting. Not sure what's going on here, but I think that this story has a lot of the things that I've seen drive other stories to increase prominence. And I think just the whole wonkiness and the juxtaposition of him just winning an award and then, being unalived for being basically what my youngest would call a robbler, uh, just weird, very weird. And I expect that this case, we will either know all the details or we will never be told the full details. It's going to go on one of those two things. And because we need Lord Chippy in our lives, again, I don't know who I need to talk to get to some of these teaching colleges to explain to these young little teachers that you do not want a rabid, crazy honey badger coming to your door and asking why the hell you are being a gross, disgusting human being with our children. A Texas teacher, 51, was caught having, abusive relations with a student after cops were called for suspicious activity in a home under construction. I I don't get it. A Texas teacher was caught having relations or having an abusive time with a minor student by police who were called to an under construction home where a caller spotted a suspicious person. Jennifer Massey, a 51-year-old art teacher at Davenport High School, was arrested Thursday when deputies from Comal County Sheriff's Office made it the disturbing discovery. Officers were checking on the house in Garden Ridge around 6 p.m. following a 911 call of activity at the unoccupied building and allegedly discovered Massey inside with a male juvenile, the sheriff's office said. Deputies concluded that the pair were engaged in, based on their preliminary investigation, the office said. Massey has been charged with improper relationship between an educator and student, a second-degree felony, and is being held at the Comal County Jail. Yes, it is. The district does not condone inappropriate relationships between teachers and students. Ensuring the safety and security of our students is our top priority. Kamal ISD said in a statement to the station, "We will continue to cooperate fully with law enforcement during their investigation." The district also sent a message to parents on Friday, which the outlet obtained. The district learned last night that Miss Massey was charged with having an inappropriate relationship with a student. Miss Massey was placed on administrative leave this morning, and she will not be returning to Davenport High School. Yeah, I mean, we think P. Diddy looks bad. I'm telling you, if you took all the cases that go on in public schools, we would have a lot more outraged people, and I wish we did. Well, in a heartbreaking and infuriating story, and I came across this yesterday, and it about had me spitting nails. Tennessee is investigating a plastics factory after Helene swept away its workers. Here's what we knew, or no. And there was this poor gentleman, this poor lovely man who, was being interviewed, and I can't remember what podcast. I really should be better at my job. But he was one of the workers that were able to get out safely because he kind of told his boss to pound sand when they said that they couldn't leave. And the incredible amount of guilt and remorse and just terror that you see on that man's face is just absolutely heartbreaking. Families of the 11 Tennessee plastics plants workers swept away by Hurricane Helene's deadly floodwaters are demanding answers from the company after its officials claimed that no flood warnings or alerts were issued before the start of the workers' shifts, contradicting official weather reports. Only 5 of the impact plastics plant employees in Irwin were rescued. 4 of the people who worked at the plant are still missing, and 2 have been confirmed no longer living. the Associated Press reported. Communities are still plagued by a lack of food, water, and power and communications after Helene's, wind force and flood unleashed over 500 miles of deadly destruction from Florida to the southern Appalachians this week. Two state investigations are unfolding into the tragedy as employees, victims' families, and customer or company owners offer differing accounts of hours before the floodwaters overtook the area. Families of the victims are outraged because they said employees were made to work during extreme weather conditions, and some were told they couldn't leave as warnings of heavy rainfall and flood-prone area, warnings came in. Impact Plastics has forcefully denied those claims, saying late Thursday that the allegations are false and no employee was stopped from leaving. Here is what they can confirm about at least what they're willing to publish. I am sure that there are a lot of independent accounts that have done a lot better at, maybe getting the on the ground story, but this is what the media is willing to tell us right now. At least two workers at Impact Plastics said they were told to keep working last Friday, just over a mile from the hospital where more than 50 people had to be evacuated from the roof due to high floodwaters that same day. Meanwhile, Impact Plastics told CNN in a preliminary review of September 27th flooding event show all employees had left the plant less than an hour after the power went out at the facility and public warning alerts were sent to cell phones. Supervisors, quote, did not prohibit employees from leaving and, quote, did not threaten anyone with discharge from employment that you can prove. Because let's be honest, there are probably going to be texts coming out. There are probably going to be actual, this is not the time where this is no longer the CNN news, the ABC, CNN, and, NBC News. Everyone now is a citizen journalist if they take out their phone and record stuff. So I have absolutely no doubt, having worked, outside in the real world, that and with people in manufacturing, that I'm guessing they told them they could not leave or they would be fired. That's my guess. It might be speculation. It is not written here. It is simply my guess. And my guess is we are going to get receipts. And then it's going to be another thing that they said. Well, we may have said that we were going to fire people, but people know that we were just joking. Elias Ibarra Mendoza, a 56-year-old grandmother, is one of the two employees that passed away. Greg Coleman, her family attorney, told CNN, quote, the source with Kaylin Collins on Thursday, the company's claim that management didn't stop anyone from leaving doesn't line up from what he's heard from others. The problem with that narrative is that it's not what a lot of people are saying or agreeing with. In fact, it's the exact opposite, Coleman said. We've already talked to several that, let's just say, are opposed to what the company is saying. Senior management was the last to leave about 45 minutes after the plant had been closed and all other employees had been dismissed, the company said. An employee who made it out of the building safely told WCYB when asked if he could leave work after the flooded parking lot, he was told no. Another employee, Jacob Ingram, who told CNN affiliate WVLT he was told, quote, no, not yet, when asked to leave. Sedans and pickups were submerged in brown, murky, fast-moving water as high winds roared in the background, as seen by a video taken by Ingram, who told WVLT he believed lives could have been saved if people had left earlier. In one video, more than half of one company building is swallowed by floodwaters. Impact Plastics said its parking lot was in a low-lying area and prone to pooling water, but their review showed that water in the lot was about 6 inches deep by the time people were dismissed. The front of the plant appears to have been passable, the company said. When the first shift at Impact Plastics factory started at 7 a.m. Central Time last Friday, the company claimed there were no flooding alerts or warnings. Water started to pool in the parking lot around 10:35 a.m. and the power plant power in the plant went out at 10:39. Public warnings were sent to cell phones around a minute later, according to the company. That contradicts multiple flood and storm alerts, along with public warnings from the National Weather Service that were issued in the area, including Irwin's plastic plant, prior to the start of the workers' last shift. A flood watch, which included warnings of Helene's rain, was issued for the area on Tuesday, and a flood warning from the National Weather Service was issued at 3:59 p.m. local time on Thursday. At 8:14 a.m. local time on Friday, a flash flood warning was issued for Unicoi County, where the factory is located. According to the National Weather Service, by 10:51 a.m., the flash flood warning in the county was updated to a flash flood emergency. When CNN asked Impact Plastics about the discrepancy, they declined to comment, saying they had, quote, no additional information as the company cooperates with other reviews, end quote. Quote, employees were directed to leave the plant property within minutes of the power outage and certainly no later than 10:50 a.m., which was communicated in both English and Spanish, the company said. Senior management, including its founder, president, and CEO, Gerald O'Connor, went through the facility to attempt to move the company's server and important documents and were the last people to leave around 11:35 a.m. O'Connor ordered a review the day after the flooding, and he said in Thursday's video statement, noting he and the company released a statement because, quote, because of death threats, but did not provide additional details on the alleged threats. I'm going to go with never happened. I'm going to go with you allowed people to die because of profit. And people know it, people can see it, and no amount of spin doctoring is going to work when the facts are right in your face. And again, everyone has one of these now. We are all citizen journalists. Twitter exists. And if these families want to take this company to court, then I hope that they have their day in court and their due process. But I can tell you public opinion is going to be, you guys are the a-holes. We don't even need to go to Reddit on this one. You are judged the a-holes. A truck owned by a neighboring company and driven by its employee picked up some factory employees, according to Impact Plastics, but rising water tipped over the truck and 5 employees and a contractor aboard the truck went missing. 5 others who were also on a truck when it tipped over made their way to safety and were later evacuated, according to the factory. Senior management called in emergency responders, and the National Guard helicopter safely airlifted 5 of the employees. Employees have 8 hours to report a workplace death, Tosha said, citing Tennessee law in a Wednesday news release. The agency, which is working with the State Bureau of Investigators, hadn't yet received a fatality report from Impact Plastics as of Wednesday evening. It's not immediately clear if there were any workplace deaths, as the company's founder said nobody perished on company property. No, they just, perished as they were trying to leave because you made them stay beyond any prudent time where they maybe could have gotten to higher ground. But no, you were like, no, we need to finish these widgets. And if you leave, you will be fired. And because people in Appalachia, normal people like you, me, and everyone else who has to, figure out what we're doing when groceries cost triple the amount, we worry about what's going out. We worry about not having a job and not being able to provide for our family. So yeah, they weren't chained to the machines or anything. They could have walked out. But this is messed up. We only had one way in and one way out, a worker recalls. The Mendoza family is heartbroken as they grieve the loss of Bertha. Her son, Guillermo Mendoza, told CNN on Thursday. He described his mother as always prioritizing the safety of her grandchildren and children. The family had just celebrated Mendoza's 56th birthday last month. Now they're planning for a funeral they never expected, according to a GoFundMe campaign to pay her funeral expenses. Employee Monica Hernandez also lost her life in the floodwaters, her family said. Quote, she always had a smile on, her niece Elizabeth Ramirez told Univision. She was always very happy. You couldn't wipe that smile off her face. Another Impact Plastic employees, Robert Jarvis, told CNN affiliate WCYB he managed to escape safely with the help of a man driving a 4x4 who picked him up and others, effectively saving his life. Jarvis reported to work on Friday morning despite the area experiencing flooding from Helene's wrath. When the power went out at the factory, he told the station. Shortly after, another employee texted him and told him to go to the parking lot, and it had flooded, so he moved his car to higher ground. There wasn't a dry spot on the lot, he said. Quote, we had one way in and one way out, Jarvis said. And when they told us we could leave, the one way out was blocked. So we're stuck in traffic on that road, waiting to see what we're going to do. Now Jarvis has just one question for Impact Plastics. Why'd you make us work that day? Why? We shouldn't have worked. We shouldn't have been there. None of us should have been there. End quote. Just absolutely disgusting. And I don't think that this company is going to survive this, and they shouldn't, quite frankly. Nothing is worth the safety of people that are your employees, or at least that's how I hope people would run their businesses, but I know that's a little Pollyanna of me. On a happier note, a herd of 100 life-size elephants take over a New York City neighborhood in this amazing art installation. Is that bamboo? Hey, it's an art installation and I know what it is. Call this a win for art. It's a stampede with a message. The Great Elephant Migration, one of the largest outdoor art installments to hit the streets of New York, has placed 100 life-size elephant sculptures in Manhattan's meatpacking district. That can't be right. Why would you put it in the meatpacking district? Quote, this is amazing. This reminds me exactly of my vacation in Africa, said Lisa Kivet, 75, who joined the throngs of locals and tourists alike who Sunday stopped to pet the giant animals set up on 9th Avenue between 15th or West 15th and Horatio Streets. The elephants, made of layers of fine woody reeds, are created by the Coexistence Collective, a community of 200 indigenous artisans living in India's Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve to raise money and awareness for the wildlife conservation efforts. Interesting. Each sculpture is a life-size facsimile of a specific real-life elephant roaming the bush in southern India. We were just in Thailand and were so amazed at how lifelike these elephants are, said Mimi Z, a wellness coach who lives nearby. They're so realistic, in fact, that one girl was afraid to go over. I think it's a good thing to have here in New York, said the girl's father, Ivan Lippy. This is showing us that we should live in harmony with animals to live with them. The artist fashioned the beast from latana, an invasive weed that has swallowed up more than 100,000 square miles of the Indian forest, threatening food supplies of local animals. The global fundraising adventure benefits Indigenous and community-led conservation efforts, specifically conservation NGOs supporting remarkable people around the world who have found ways to live alongside lions, leopards, elephants, and some of the planet's most challenging animals, according to the Meatpacking District's website. I mean, they're pretty cool sculptures. Lanita Hobbs, 67, wished the elephants would make New York their forever home. They're magnificent. They should leave them there. If you would like to catch a glimpse of, these reed elephants, October the 20th is when they pack up and leave for Miami Beach and then Los Angeles. Well, I mean, idiots are everywhere, and we scare them often. In a story I am sure you have seen on TikTok with this chick who apparently found a bloody rug outside her home, True Crime X TikTok, Katie Santry's haunted house investigation takes the internet by storm. An intriguing true crime saga unfolded on TikTok this week. Katie Santry of Columbus, Ohio, has taken the internet by storm after sharing a video this week explaining why she believes her house is haunted. She discovered her laptop screen shattered and belongings on the desk in her sunroom were disheveled. Do you have young feral children? Because I'm telling you that I thought I was haunted too, but apparently it's just young feral children not respecting, like, don't touch mommy's stuff. Uh, she proceeded to share that they were building a fence in their backyard and dug a hole in order to do so. There is a rolled up carpet underneath the ground that we came across when we were digging this hole, she revealed. In another update, she said that a tree was planted above the rug. It's called Bloodgood because this was in a hole. She continued, showing the viewers a slip of paper with the name of the tree on it. Santry told TikTokers that her stepson woke up to his phone having only 3% battery, despite his phone being on a charger and having 100% battery before he went to bed. Sure. Sure. Or maybe it wasn't all the way charged or, your phone is not good, but hey, no, surely it's poltergeist. I mean, hey, if I can blame my falling upstairs on poltergeist, I am there for it. And the fact that I can't shave my leg without nicking the ever-living poo out of my shins, even though I've had shins for 40 years, you think I'd remember every time I shave, but no. No, I do not. So I'm going with my house is also haunted. And anytime I spill something or something falls out of my stupid left hand, I am going to say that it was definitely a ghost. Santry also posed a theory surrounding her next door neighbor who died in her home the day that she moved into their house. Her late neighbor's home was being boarded up at the same time, and she noticed the aforementioned seemed supernatural. Sure. She opted to call the police, who Santry told 10 TV had, quote, thought nothing of it when they first came to her home. With the motivation from invested viewers online, Santry decided to dig. I think because of the virality of the TikTok, they called me today, Thursday, when my friends and I were actually going to dig this rug up out of curiosity. The police arrived with canines, which Sandry documented on Thursday, and stunned viewers as two different cadaver dogs honed in on the hole and sat down, further inciting fear and speculation. However, police officers started excavating on Friday morning, but said in an update that by afternoon they had not found any remains. Santry deemed this to be the most absurd, insane experience of her life in a TikTok update on Friday, and is still wondering why both cadaver dogs hit in her yard and why her laptop screen was shattered. Well, again, you have a young child. Now, I'm going to say that my sons would be absolutely tickled pink if I started to believe that there was actually a ghost inhabiting my house, scribbling Griffin on things or breaking things or, breaking $80 cans of paint. I mean, this kid has now found a forever get out of jail card. Let's praise the Lord there's no body, she teased. I can say in my home, everybody knows where I live, but at least it's not haunted by that. But who broke my laptop? I'd say talk to your son, but that's just, I'm no Nancy Drew or anything, but I'm going to guess that it was your son. An alligator in Detroit. I feel like one of those salsa commercials like, New York City. Why the hell is an alligator in Detroit? An alligator was found hiding under a parked car in a Detroit suburb. Police were called to a home in a Detroit suburb to remove a 4-foot alligator found lurking underneath a resident's car. Marisol Mausa Araki said she was preparing to leave for work when neighbors alerted her to events unfolding in her Sterling Heights driveway. And everyone's like, "There's an alligator under your car." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" And then I go to look, and here we go. He's laying under my car, she said. The Sterling Heights Police Department arrived on the scene and summoned assistance from the Reptarium, a zoo in Utica. Zookeepers captured the gator and transported it to their facility for care. Police say they believe the alligator was an illegal pet that either escaped or was set loose by its owner. The Sterling Heights Police Department would like to remind the public that while it may seem cool to own an exotic animal such as an alligator, it is still very dangerous, the department said in a statement provided to the Detroit News. Furthermore, it's also against city ordinance to possess one. Keeping dangerous exotic animals is a misdemeanor offense in Sterling Heights and carries the potential of a fine of up to $500. Interesting. Don't throw your, you know, don't throw your alligators away. We're going to need Lord Chippy again because what in the rapture and evidence that some family trees circle like a wreath is this? Parents are arrested after cops find bone fragments in a fire pit of two children who technically never existed on paper, authorities say. Gross. And of course, they're Indiana. I would like to apologize for Indiana. I don't know why Indiana is becoming the Florida of the Midwest. I don't know how we got here, but what the hell, Indiana? I have to proclaim this. A mother and father from Indiana are behind bars after they allegedly unalived their two children, then burned their bodies in the fire pit in the backyard. Stephen Vale, 31, and Samantha Sabella, 25, are facing charges of murder, neglect of a dependent causing death, abuse of a corpse, and failure to report a dead body. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office said deputies began investigating September 20th after someone allegedly confessed to friends about unaliving two children and burning their bodies at their home in Wheatfield. Cops referred to the passed away children as undocumented, meaning they were likely born at home and never received any documentation like a birth certificate, social security number, and the like. The detectives found Vale and Sabella at a hotel in Newton County. They denied any knowledge, but cops took their phones as evidence. Deputies obtained new information, but the parents continued to claim innocence. Meanwhile, a third undocumented child was removed from their custody. On September 30th, the Sheriff's Office, Indiana State Police, Jasper County Coroner's Office, along with two cadaver dogs, descended upon the property in Wheatfield where Vale and Sabella used to live. The couple had reportedly been evicted from the property earlier this year. With cooperation of the landowner and current residents, the search began, and the cadaver dogs alerted to 3 separate locations on the property. A preliminary search at these locations uncovered partial bone fragments. Cops took the bone fragments to a specialist in Indianapolis for testing to determine whether they were from an infant or an animal. The bones were determined to be human, according to the sheriff's office. Investigators once again interviewed the human donors of these people. On Thursday, where new information came to light, a judge found there was enough to arrest Vale and Sabella on Friday. According to records, deputies took them to the Jasper County Detention Center, where they remain without bond. Thank God. And, since it's the spooky season and we're all trying to be a little bit healthier, what is a ghost poop and why should I know? Well, if I had to read the headline and accompanying story, I am sharing that with you, not inflicting that upon you. Because I didn't even know that. I assume that's what happens when, I see streak marks. But I guess there's a different thing. Boo poo? New York Post, we've talked about this. In the spirit of the spooky season and a celebration of gut health, that is a link of two subjects that I never would have put together. We're talking about ghost poops and phantom feces. I don't even know. A ghost poop is a term to describe when one stool sinks to the bottom of the toilet and seemingly vanishes without a trace. The gut health expert and registered dietitian Julie Balsamo previously told the Post. Who sits around and thinks about these things? I mean, I have crazy thoughts where I go on weird tangents, but never have they led me to like, where does, the poo that just slides all the way down the toilet go? It just never occurs to me. Good morning, Shizzy Wiznut. That without a trace includes the absence of evidence when you wipe. Well, and that's special. And experts say it's a good sign. So if you have vanishing poos, A for effort, it's the healthiest bowel movement, really, in a lot of ways. I am not mature enough to end with this. A Boston based registered dietitian and gut health expert and co host of the Gut Health podcast, Katie Scarlatta, said there are a few conditions that can contribute to the ghost poo. The reason these pros seem to disappear, they're heavier thanks to fiber and sink faster. Scarlatta explained, unlike floating poos, which may be buoyant due to an excess of gas or malabsorption of carbs or fats, the ghost sinkers are packed with fiber, which gives them heft and helps them sink and vanish. Well, I feel like I've learned something today, and I'm not sure if I'm going to continue to study my poos or ever start. What is wrong with people? Uh, the easy exit is also a sign that your colon is doing good and all your muscles are aligned to push out a poo in one single cohesive moment or movement. I might need to show this to Mr. Mo because I don't know anyone who spends, I'm like, 15 minutes. I know you're in there playing on your phone. He's like, no, I'm trying to get a ghost poop. I sent him this article, so I'm sure this is going to be my new excuse as to why he's still in the restroom. I'm working on aligning my chakra so I can have a, phantom poo. Oh, for the love of goodness. So there you guys go. Eat more fiber, and you too can have just all sort of poo talk because it's 2024, you guys. I don't know what to tell you. I thought this was going to be somewhat insightful, but no, it just gets deeper into scatological organization, and I am not mature enough to deal with that this morning. Let's see. Housekeeping stuff. Well, it is Voir dire Day for Sarah Boone. I'm not sure if they're going to be televising that, but I will be covering, since I sort of had an off weekend, I will be covering, let's see, the denial motion. We will be going over Sarah Boone's Glam Squad rejection, her newest and latest prison inmate notes. So we will be doing all of that, and I have my detective great hair wig that I will be putting on in the break between this. So if you are here for snark and information and possibly, I don't know, a little bit of, a lot of snark. We will be going over Sarah Boone. I can't wait to see what Brows of Justice, Justice Kranick has put out there because I love his subtle but very classy mic drops. So I will be here for it. I hope to see you guys there at 10. Have a lovely day. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. And I think that this whole automatic outro thing is really going to work, but let's try it. Bye, guys.